Hey everyone, this is Ieasha of Ieasha Designed It, and today we're going to be going directly into how to place designs on your t-shirt. So one thing about it is that when you are designing, placement is everything. Like, you want to start from a blank t-shirt, okay? You put your design on it and it turns into a focal point. So pretty much when you wear a t-shirt, your design is the focal point. All right, y'all, so I'm going to show you some of the t-shirts that I have done and the placement of it. So I know graduation season is coming up, y'all. Pretty much graduation season is here, all right? So I'm just going to show you some t-shirts that I have made. I started back in, some of these go from 2024 to last year, and also I'm going to show you some of the ones I did when my oldest daughter graduated from high school, which was 4 years ago. But this is one that I did, if y'all remember, I did this one last year. Now when it comes to doing an actual bigger size, this one here is, I think this one was a 13 by 19 paper size, and let's see. Yeah, so this is the 13 by 19 paper size that I use. I use this paper here, y'all, and it's absolutely amazing. So what you want to do when you get ready to place your design on your t-shirt is that you want to make sure that you line it up. And I'm going to show you the best way to do that. You use pretty much your fingers and you measure it from the neckline to make sure everything lines up. So this one right here, I know everyone can't print 13 by 19, but I'm going to show you some 8.5 by 11s also that I have done. But this one here is the 13 by 19 shirt, which is the longer one. So all I did was just take my design. So this is just a plain piece of sublimation paper. You go ahead and you print your design on sublimation paper. You take your sublimation paper and you just put it face down like this onto the t-shirt, okay? But you got to measure it to make sure that it stays in the middle. So that's where a measuring tape is going to come in, right here. Either you can use like a measuring tape, or you can use one of those, I think it's called like a t-shirt guide. I have one, but I'm not sure exactly where it is. And you can kind of line everything up. Now, sometimes, not all the time, you can line your actual sublimation paper up using the tag. Sometimes that doesn't work because all tags will not be directly in the middle. Now, this one here just so happened it was directly in the middle, so I was able to line it up using the tag. So do you see this? So one thing about a t-shirt is that it goes from a actual blank t-shirt, which is like, let me see, this one has something on. So it goes from a blank t-shirt like this right here. You see there is nothing on this t-shirt. So when people look at this, what are they going to look at? A lot of people like just t-shirts like this, but this is just a regular t-shirt. But it can go from this to what? To this. So when it goes from a blank t-shirt to one of these t-shirts right here, this part is the focal point. So you want to make sure that everything lines up the way it's supposed to, right directly in the middle, as you see right here. So like I said before, that's where your measuring tape comes from. And what you do when you measure from left to right, or either right to left. So when I did this one here, I just took my measuring tape, tape there, and I went from this end here to this end over here. Okay, so you go from one end to the other. When you go from one end to the other, that just gives you the, the precise measurements. Then you want to measure from top pretty much down to where, you want it. Okay, so that's how I did this one, and it turned out amazing, as you see right here. Now this one that I did, let's see. I don't know if you can see that one. I would take it off the stand. But do you see this one right here? This is the one that I did for this year. It is the Congrats 2026. Okay. So you see how everything lines up in the middle? And it's beautiful. So what you would do when you get ready to line this up, as you see right here, you see, let me come over here. So you see this neckline right here, right? You see this part. You would just take, depending on the size, because we have small, medium, large, extra large, we have 2XL and 3XL. So this one here is a, this one is a 2XL. So you would just take your fingers and you would just come here at the neckline. Let me see if I can come closer so that you can see. Uh-oh. So this fell down. Alright y'all, so I just want to show you the placement of this t-shirt. Now this is the t-shirt that I did for this year, and do you see how cute this is? So one thing I was telling you about is the focal point. So when you are, just say for instance you go to graduation, or you in a grocery store, or just a store, whatever it may be, or you're just walking, the focal point, when people look at you, the focal point is right here. Okay, that includes a man, a woman, or whomever it may be. Okay, the focal point is here, and that's where you want to keep it. Now some people get designs on the back. That's also a focal point, but mainly when you just do a front design like this one, the focal point is right here. So you want to make sure that your picture is not crooked. You want to make sure that it's not going to the left or to the right, but it's focused right here in the middle part. Okay, so again, this is one of the ones that I did, and as you see, again, the focal point is where? It's right in the middle. Again, that's where you want it. Now this one here, this particular one is an 8.5 by 11. So you see, it doesn't matter if it's an 8.5 by 11 or it's a this is an 8.5 by 11 also, or it's a longer one like a 13 by 19 or something like that. Okay, all right, that's one of the longer ones. But it just depends on what your customer want, what your client want, even what you want. Because my twins are graduating. They're moving to the next grade this year. So I'm going to be making t-shirts for us also. So I got to make sure that the focal point is right in the middle. And one thing about this is that it's great when people see this, because just like for instance, you designed this. When you design this, people are going to be like, where did you get that? Where did you get that? So I'm going to be asking questions and want to know. Now, when I made my daughters, this is one of the ones that I made for her when she graduated 4 years ago. Let me see, not that one. Well, this one. Okay, trying to see. Okay, now this one here I made 4 years ago. This is one of the t-shirts. This is my t-shirt right here. Can you see that? It said Mom of the Graduate, and I have my daughter's picture right in the middle. Okay? What is the focal point of this t-shirt? What do you see? What when you look at this t-shirt, what does your eyes go to? It goes right here to my daughter, right? This is her graduation picture. Her senior portrait. This is the one she took. So your eyes go right here. So when your eyes go right here, this is the focal point. Then after you look at the focal point, you're looking at all the writing. Okay? So Mom of the Graduate. Now this is the one I did. This is sublimation and vinyl. Okay? Because I do both. So this is one of them right here. Now these are designs that I'm going to still be making this year, 2020, class of 2026. So they're going to be over my website. I'm going to be making t-shirts. But for the ones of you who make your own t-shirts, this is what I wanted to tell you. Just make sure that you have the focal point. Because I know so many of you, you know, you're like, where's the focal point? Where should I put my sublimation design, or whatever the design may be, whether you're doing sublimation, you may be doing DTL. Because this right here, that you see right here, this is DTL. I did this. Okay? And then the other thing that you want to make sure that you know, how big you want your design and how big you want your pictures and your letters. Now, some people have their letters like just say for instance the class of 2026, this, since we're in the class of 2026, some people like them to be huge, some people like them to be just this size right here. But again, it goes back to how big your picture is. Again, some people like their picture to be 8.5 by 11, which this is, 13 by 19, which remember that's going to be a larger print, and 11 by 17 is going to be large also. So a 13 by 19 may take up half of this t-shirt. If not, yeah, it should take up half, if not the whole t-shirt, okay? So it'll go down a little bit. That's why you have to make sure that you start at the neckline when it comes to measuring where you want to put your design. Now, when it comes to kids t-shirts, that's different. I have done some kids t-shirts also. And with kids t-shirts, you may want to come down more than 2 or 3 fingers, or maybe 4 fingers. It just depends. I didn't see that. Okay, so it just depends on what it is that you put on your t-shirt. Okay, so always remember that. Always remember the placement of it, the design that you're using, how big your letters is going to be, how many pictures you're going to use, because normally I don't go past 3 pictures when it comes to making my designs. Okay, so as you see, with this one here, I only use 3 pictures. With this one here, I use 2, because that can make or break your t-shirt too. If you have too much stuff on your t-shirt or on the design, that can literally make it look tacky. And you don't want that, okay? You want to make it look presentable, and you want it to look really, really like, eye-catching, because again, this is the focal point. So let me just show you one that I did. Y'all, I did this t-shirt. My oldest daughter was like, I think she was 10 when I did this shirt right here. Now this one here, remember I told y'all I started off doing t-shirts using vinyl. So this one here is a vinyl t-shirt. So you see how long this t-shirt has lasted. It says Princess AIG 1. And I did 1 because that's my oldest daughter. Okay, I have 3 kids, so she's the first one. So this shirt right here is, this t-shirt here is about, I think she was 10, y'all. I'm not sure. She might have been. Anyway, this shirt is probably about 12 years old, maybe. I would say 11 to 12 years old. So as you see, vinyl, when you get the correct type of vinyl lasts for a long time. You see this shirt has been washed many, many times throughout the years that she has had this shirt. So again, this is vinyl. This is not sublimation. So there's some people who still do vinyl, like myself. I still do vinyl t-shirts. I still do some other things that are vinyl. But when you do it right, you do it correctly, it will last. All right. And so what is the focal point? Again, Princess AIG 1. That's the focal point. Okay, this is a design that I made myself. Like I said, just think outside the box when it comes to your designs or what you want to put on your t-shirt. All right. And this here is just a regular cotton gilding shirt. Okay, so another one that I did, this one here I used DTF. No, this one here I did sublimation, because I've done sublimation and DTF. This one here is a sublimation t-shirt. Now with this shirt, I used the soft style shirt. As you see, I just turned it different colors. This shirt was all pink, so I made it look distressed, like it's looking right here. Do you see how it looks? It's a distressed look. Okay, so I did the sublimation on this shirt. As you see right here, this shirt is still holding up, and I did this shirt. All right, so this is sublimation, and this right here I did this a long time ago, probably about 4 years ago now. And as you see, it's still holding, it still looks good. All right, I think I did a video on here. If I did, I will be linking it for you so that you can go back and watch how I did it. All right, so it says be still and know, Psalms 46:10. So it just depends. And this again is the focal point, because this is where all eyes is going to go, right here in the middle. So always remember that. Okay, So another thing that I want to show y'all, now let me show y'all. This take me back a long time, okay? Because this, when I told y'all that how I started my business, well, really my business started as a hobby. Like when my twins were 3 years old, I wanted to do a, make sure they had their t-shirts, and I had made their little tutus and all of that stuff. And I took them out to the park and I did a photo shoot. So y'all, I do photo shoot, I do everything, okay? We didn't have the money at the time to go and do no photo shoot. So I had a camera and I did their t-shirts and their tutus, and we went out to the park and we took pictures. Now I know I did a video on that, and I'm going to be posting it right here so that you can see how I started out, So this is my very, very first t-shirt that I made for my twins. Do you see this? Look at this. This is the very first one that I did. Y'all, this shirt right here is 11 years old. This shirt right here is almost 12 years old. And as you see, it's still holding up very, very well, but it's, it's a little faded. Okay. Now this right here, when I put this on, this was, it's been 12 years ago. I think this was Sublimation or either DTF. Okay. I think it was DTF. Yeah, so this was DTF, and I wanted to be a theme, so that's why I got this theme and did it for them. So I have one for my oldest twin and my other twin. I cannot find the other shirt. I'm sure it's around here somewhere, but this bring back memories, because this bring back memories of when I first started. This is my very first shirt that I did, and that's how I started my business as a hobby. And like I said before, this is like, I think this shirt is, they were 3, so it's about almost 12 years old. So this is amazing, y'all. I love it. But still, at the time, what is the focal point? I was able to put it directly underneath this label here. And so the focal point is right here in the middle. Okay, but always remember, all the time, this label will not be directly centered in the middle, so it's always best to use a tape measure or one of those t-shirt guides, okay? All right, y'all, so I hope that you learned how to have your focal point, where to put your focal point at, how big to make your letters when you are designing, and how to use, like, if you're going to use pictures, don't use just a whole lot of pictures, because you want your design to be presentable. You want it to look nice, and you want because this is the focal point. You want people to really look at it and be like, wow, that is gorgeous. Okay, so just be careful when you are designing, when you're making your t-shirts. And of course, I'm going to be coming back on here. We're going to go back into Canva, because I love Canva, y'all. And all of these designs that you see right here, I did in Canva. All right, so all of these I did in Canva, except the vinyl ones. Now, when I did this one here, like I told you, this was my oldest daughter's. This is my oldest daughter's right here, back when she was like, I think she was like 10 or 11. I can't remember. But back then, when I didn't know anything about Canva back then. So pretty much I had to think of what I wanted to put on, her t-shirt, and I had to, print it out on my my Cricut machine. I still have the same Cricut machine that I did this with. I made my husband a nightshirt. That was another one of the designs that I did on my Cricut machine when it came to using my vinyl. So y'all, just when you're designing and you are thinking, you are creating, just think outside the box and do something a little different. I sell templates, graduation templates. So when you get those templates, just go ahead, make them your own by changing out the colors, changing out the pictures, changing out, of course, the name. You want to make it your own and just, make it what that looks presentable to you and represents your graduate. Okay. All right, y'all. So I thank y'all so much for watching. I wanted to bring this to you because I know a lot of you have questions about the design, how to put the design down, where to put the design, how many pictures to use, how big to make your your letters, or you know, all of that. So that's what I wanted to come show you today. Now I do use my 15 by 15 heat press in order to heat my design onto my t-shirt. Also I use my ET 8550, as you see right there. That's the converted sublimation printer that I use. I absolutely love it. I have a Bettersub heat press that I absolutely love. And y'all, all of this will be in the description box below. If you need a printer, if you need a heat press, whatever it is that you need, go ahead and check out my website for your templates. I am also changing up my website again. I was on Shopify, y'all. I went from Shopify to another website, but y'all, I love Shopify, so I'm going back to Shopify. I am designing my own website, so everything will be up and running very soon. It does take time to design a website, y'all, so right now I do have my website that you can go and check out. I have some templates over there at IeashaDesigner.com, so go ahead and check them out. And I will be back because, y'all, graduation season is here, and I am ready for you to go ahead and place your order. All right, so y'all have a great day, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace. Oh, and don't forget, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Peace.